Welcome to Daily Insight. I'm your host, JC, and today I don't really have anything really to talk about.
Let's go. There's not a man that I fear. There's nobody here that can stop me. Cause I'm in a league of my own, kid. Y'all can just sit back and watch me. They know who I am, they can't imitate.
Which is a strange thing because I can talk pretty much about anything. And one of the things that we did today was we went to the Tulum ruins. And the Tulum ruins was great. It was chaotic, it was inexpensive but expensive, and it was a good event. It was a good adventure, to say the least. We took our bikes. We own bikes here in the city of Tulum where we're currently staying. And it's one of those places that, it's freaking hot in here. Tulum's one of those places that hasn't really been built out. It doesn't really have necessarily the infrastructure that, you know, a destination where you think a destination might have. Now it's currently being built. Like you could see it like before your eyes. Like this place is absolutely going to be humongous, and at some point in time, Tulum is going to be one of those destinations that not so much like a hidden gem anymore. It's going to be one of those places that, you know, people go on a regular basis. It might even outlapse, you know, places like Playa del Carmen or Cancun or some of those other like destinations, because this is kind of the new hot area. And it's fun to ride around on our bikes. We own bikes here in Tulum. We bought bicycles, and you recognize like all the opportunities in life, and you recognize all the opportunities in the sense of like the capitalistic way. And you can kind of see when you visit these types of places, you recognize that you can see like the future potential, and it's fun. It's fun to kind of imagine, you know, what it might look like once it's all built out, and it's pretty remarkable. But I enjoy places that, you know, have that beginning phase, that really rough area where, you know, today we went to this restaurant for lunch, and we're sitting down, and it's like a weird, like, it's not like an actual restaurant. They don't come and take your order. Like, you go up to the counter and you kind of pick out what kind of meal you want. And today it was like you could either have tacos or you could have like a meal that include like rice and beans. And I ordered the meal. I ordered the meal with rice and beans and chicken. And he said, do you want deep fried chicken or do you want, you know, like barbecue chicken? Like, oh, I'll go with the barbecue chicken or the grilled chicken. And a little healthier, you know, I'm trying to, you know, shed a few pounds before the summer months. And he hands me, you know, they hand you the plate, you go sit down, and then they start bringing you more stuff. The dude hands me a basket full of tortillas, probably like 20 like little taco-sized tortillas. Yeah, that's interesting. And he brings me salsa and lettuce and tomato and like sits us down and it's like a home-cooked meal. And both my wife and I were sitting there and we're like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly like our friends Jessica and Brian. Like this is the style of meal that we would have at their house. And it was absolutely delicious. It was so good. The hot sauce was hot. The tortillas were homemade. The chicken was like flavorful and juicy, but then the rice and beans were just like, they were really good, but they were just a little different. Like the rice had a hint of lime in them. Like the beans were like refried smashed black beans, which was delicious. And I'm sitting there and we're enjoying our meal, and it was one of those things that we don't know how much it's going to cost. We have no clue, like, because there's not a menu. Like there isn't, like, there's some stuff like handwritten on the walls, but like you don't really know if that is accurate or not. And I tried to pay for the meal beforehand, and he's like, no, sit down, relax, have you know, enjoy your meal. So okay, so we sit down, we start relaxing, and we're enjoying our meal, and I just am kind of an observant person, and the guy behind me is clearly American for whatever reason, I can just tell, and he's trying to pay with a credit card, and it was one of those establishments that you're like, you weren't sure if they accept credit cards or they only accept cash, and he's sitting there and he's trying to pay with the card, and the guy's like, no, only pesos, and the guy's like, shit, you know, like what am I gonna do? I only have a credit card. So I offered to pay his meal. He's an American guy. He probably had Venmo or Cash App or whatever. He sent me money. It's not that big of a deal. It wasn't like that generous of a thing that I was doing. It was just, you know, and I assumed the meal was rather inexpensive, so no big deal. The guy goes, oh no, I got my wife coming. She's bringing pesos, so I can pay for the meal. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And it made me realize something. In the United States and most of the world that I've traveled in, they always accept a credit card. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about the whole credit card. I made a daily vlog yesterday about the travel credit card that we actually use. It's a Capital One X-Venture card. It gives us all kinds of bonuses and benefits of using this card. And the reason why they offer all these benefits is in hopes that you spend way too much money, you're not able to pay it back, and then they're able to charge you an incredible amount of interest for that debt or that credit that you ran. You essentially, you overextended yourself and you can't pay it back all in 1 month. So you lose out on some of those benefits, and it's not a good thing. But one of the things that I was thinking about it, and I recognized that everyone in the world, like, the credit cards take a processing fee in order to use that card, because they essentially front the business the money. Okay, when you pay with a card, you're essentially saying, hey, business, this company that I'm using is going to give you the money, and then in turn, then I'm going to give them the money, and it's this third-party interaction. But they charge you a percentage, a transaction fee. And there's certain credit cards that don't charge this transaction fee. But the retailer or the business, if they accept a credit card, and I have multiple businesses where they take a percentage of every single dollar that is charged. Say, for example, $100. I think my credit card fees are like 0.75% or 1%. So at $100, that the credit card processor, the people that do the transaction, get paid $1. And it got me thinking. If you do 100 of those transactions at 1%, the credit card processor, or the people that are they're able to like process the credit cards or the payments, they're going to own $100 after 100 transactions, and they didn't really do anything for it. So as I'm sitting in this restaurant and I'm recognizing that, how inconvenient this restaurant is, but ultimately I think it's a better business model. And it's one of those things that, like, why are we going away from cash? Why are we going away from, actually monetary notes? Is it because of the transactions, like the fees, or are we just too fucking lazy to go get cash? And I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. But it really got me thinking, like, who's pushing us to credit cards? Who's pushing us to debit cards? Who's pushing us towards that? And then I kind of dove into it even deeper, and I recognized, like, the United States, one of the things that drives me fucking crazy is the tipping. And I don't think it's the servers that are getting out of hand. I think it's the credit card processors. Now stick with me. When you order a meal, say a coffee, a burger, whatever, out to eat, whatever it is, and the person that's serving you spins the machine around, and you get a selection of 15, 20, 25, 30, 35% for a tip. And then I started thinking about it. I go, who's incentivized to get a bigger tip? Now, don't get me wrong, I think the employee definitely is, but at the same time, I think the credit card processor is. Because if the dollar amount is higher that the customer is paying, the larger the fee that the credit card gets to process. I go, that's strange. And I've always cracked up with the idea of leaving, employees cash. But I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to start changing some of my financial decisions when it comes to running that credit card. And I think we need to get back to using more cash. And it's, because it's one of those things that I think is important. And it allows us to take some of that control back. Is it an inconvenience at times? 100%. 100%. Today, lucky enough, I had enough cash to cover our meal, which our meal was like $20. But it got me thinking, that business isn't charging any fees. And it's one of those things that, like, Should they have made it rather clear at the start of the process? Sure. But as a local mom and pop store, like why would they just fork over a dollar amount just so that you can process your credit card? Anyways, that's today's Daily Insight. Hopefully you got something from that. If you've enjoyed this segment, please do me a favor and consider subscribing and hitting the like notification. I'd greatly appreciate it. Till next time, talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.
Let's go. There's not a man that I fear. There's nobody here that can stop me. Cause I'm in a league of my own, yeah. Y'all can just sit back and watch me. They know who I am, they can't imitate.